What's up, folks? Welcome back. This is the second episode of Book Club, which is what I chose to call it in the end, I guess, because, I don't know, I'm reading books, so that's all I could come up with. Anyways, since the last time I had an episode, I could have phrased that a little differently. Since my last episode, is that better? Anyways, I read a few books since the last time we talked about books. Let's put it that way. And, I'm just gonna start talking about them. Let's get this ball rolling. The first book I read was Black Hole. And if you're wondering why there's sort of a sheen on there, that's because for some reason libraries like to cover their hardcover books in plastic. That's why you guys like ASMR? ASMR. This book was written by Charles Burns, and he's super talented. This book was awesome. I know if some of you just saw that, you're like, wow, this is a thick book. And yes, it is quite dense, but it's definitely well worth the read. It's kind of like It Follows, except it's better and came before it. So there you go. If you don't know what It Follows is, it's on Netflix and it's really good, but this book is better. Go to your library and read this. Basically, it's kind of in this smaller town, and a lot of these high schoolers, it's one summer, and this thing starts getting passed around. A lot of people are calling it the bug. And yes, it's transferred through sexy time. So this book is
rated M for mature.
I don't know. But the cool thing about this graphic novel is the bug affects everyone differently. So like some people grow tails, some people get webbed fingers, some people's teeth fall out, they get weird stuff on their face. It's wild. I think part of the reason that is cool, I guess, to me, is just because of the art. I like the black and white style of it. Since there's no color, shadows are really important, shading is really important, and I think, this artwork just really works. I'll show you like a quick little couple pages. I don't know, it's really cool. I really like it. One thing though is Rob and Keith, two of the main characters, look very similar. And there were a couple times where I would start a new chapter and I didn't know who I was reading about because their like haircuts and faces are the same. But after a while you figure it out, or you get used to it and you can tell sort of like the subtle differences. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I really enjoyed this book. I really recommend it. It's a quality read, and like I said before, it's thick, but it's worth it. Like me. Black Hole, everybody. The second book I read was Batman Year 100. This one is written by Paul Pope, and it was amazing. I know I'm saying that about like every book I read, but what can I say? I just have good taste in books, I guess. So, by the title of this graphic novel, Batman Year 100, some of you would think, oh, Batman's 100 years old. But some of you intellectuals like me would go, oh no, it's his 100th year as Batman, which means he's about 130 or 140, depending on where Paul Pope, put Bruce Wayne becoming Batman as in his life. And they never really specify it. I don't actually remember how old he is. I don't think they said how old he is. But he's old, I can tell you that. The cool thing about this is Paul Pope got to create sort of his own world, his own universe, and just place Batman characters in there. It's a story where, he has a Robin, but he also has two other new characters that are kind of like there with him, and I really enjoyed the new characters. And also, Jim Gordon has no idea who he is. He doesn't even know Batman exists. So that was really, really interesting to read. I think one thing that really stood out in this book was all the supporting characters. Like I said, the new ones, and Jim Gordon especially, really sort of kept me engaged, because I was kind of thinking to myself, like, when are they gonna meet? Who do they know? Like, who do these new characters know who he is? How do they do that? How do they know who Batman? And also, like, how does Jim Gordon not know who Batman is? And all this stuff sort of unfolds as the book goes on. And also, if you couldn't tell, this cover looks, I gotta get the light out of there, this cover looks weird. You're like, why does Batman look like that? Well, that's because he's old. Speaking of how he looks, I think his suit is awesome. I'm gonna show you guys a little piece of the book right here. Boom. I don't know what it is. I just like it. The shorts, he's got boots on, the way that the cowl is, it's really cool. I absolutely love this art style, and I absolutely love this story. If you're a fan of Batman at all, I highly recommend reading this because it's kind of a new take on some of these characters we know, and it's also a new take on Batman. So definitely check this one out if you're a Batman fan. And finally, guess what? It's another Batman graphic novel. What a shock. This one is Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader. It's by Neil Gaiman, so you know, it's amazing. Neil Gaiman's amazing. He's such a talented author and writer, so I wasn't expecting anything less than amazing, and let me tell you, that's what I got. Now, I don't really want to give anything away or spoil anything with this one. This is another one that I highly recommend reading if you're a fan of Batman, but in this, you kind of get a lot of different Batman stories. Some are true, some are untrue. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but there's a story in which Alfred's the Joker? Maybe? I don't know. It's just a really interesting read, and like I said before with Batman Year 100, if you're even a small fan of Batman, I think this one would be a really good read for you. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 2 of my book club series, I guess. If you made it this far, make sure to leave a like, or let me know if you've read any of these books, or, yeah, that's it. Don't say anything else in the comments, unless you've read one of these books. Also, make sure to hit that bell, and live Moss.